Well, hello everybody, this is DearMamaSal and it's Saturday morning. Well, it's not. Who am I kidding? It's Saturday afternoon. I always do this. And I'm on my way to go and get lots of my hair cut off. Well, not lots of it, but quite a bit of it. It's amazing how much it grows. And I will, of course, remember to tell my stylist to not chop off too much, because you guys asked me to do that last time and it worked really well. So I'm going to tell it again and say, okay, fine, not too much. Just not as short as you would like to cut it, just a little bit less than that. And so if we can do that, we're going to be in good shape, literally. But I have noticed that my hair has an ability to curl in its own direction now that it is not restricted by being colored. So ever since I've let my hair grow out of its false coloring, it's gained some very interesting dynamic to it. You know, bits that normally would go left go right and so forth, and it's strong. You know, it's almost it's almost like you know, I go to curl it and it fights me. You know, it's like, you know, and I'm going, no, really, go that way. No, I want to go this way. And so it really is, it really is quite nasty at times. But you know, that's okay. I'm very grateful because I changed my perspective, remember? I'm very grateful to have my hair. I have hair. This is a good start. And so much of it, particularly at my age. And so hair, if you really want to fight me all the way, you go right ahead. Just stay as cute as you are, and I will continue to love you as much as I do. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. Mummy is out gardening, and long-haired golden retriever is sitting on the grass watching the traffic go by. At first of all, it looked like a dog that was sitting in the traffic all by, I mean sitting on the grass, you know, just watching the traffic all by itself. And then I saw that Mummy was gardening. It was really a cute picture. Alright, so talking about mummies, I just wanted to wish you all that will see this Happy Mother's Day. I need to tell you that I did a really interesting vlog yesterday, and yet again I maxed out the amount of space in my camera, and my camera holds a lot of video. I've got to tell you something, I'm amazed how much video it carries, but I managed to max it out midway, or not, I don't know quite where, through my brilliant vlog of yesterday. I decided to do an extra vlog yesterday, and I know it was a great subject. I haven't the foggiest idea what it was. But I know it was good, because I remember really being quite upset when I suddenly realized that my camera had shut off, and I don't know how long I'd been talking for when that happened. So you're going to get both parts, because I know it gives you a smile when I do a doofus like that. But I did really want to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day. And I know that alone will make some of you sad, because some of you are going, but Sal, my mom isn't around anymore, and neither is mine. And not only that, my father died on Mother's Day. So I have lots of reasons, you know, to go that route if I want to, and I'm not going to. And because my mum's around all the time. She has never really left me. And there are times when I wish that she had left me and she's still around, particularly when I'm slurping gravy off my plate. Do you know what I mean? And I can still hear her. Sallykins, don't do that. Actually, my mother perfected the look. She didn't need to say anything. I wonder how many of you have mothers that had that perfect look. The one that made you just shrivel up and die. My mom had a really good one. And I can't help thinking that Juliana is training for that look. Right? She's going to have a good one, right? Because she's already got it. She gave it to me a couple of times when I was down there. You know, she's going to really... she's going to have a really good one. There you go. Her passive-aggressive skills will be high. Oh, that is so cute. Why did I not relate to that when I was down there? Okay, so, but happy Mother's Day for those of you who have great relationships with your mum. And I want to talk about that to start with, because be very grateful that you do. Right? It may not be perfect, but you have a good relationship. So be very grateful, because there are so many of us that, you know, that would love to have that, because our parents are no longer around. And there are some of you that will have had a relationship that wasn't great, could have been better, and you know, unfortunately your parents, your mum passed away before you got a chance to improve it. You can improve it every day. I'm a great believer that they still hear us, and they still look down on us and smile, and are still impressed with what we do, or roll their eyes at what we do. I really do believe that, and that gives me great fear and great pleasure. I know that my mom would have been really proud of what I'm doing right now in terms of Dear Mama Sal. There was that part of her that loved it when I was performing, and not because I was a performer, because she really did love the fact that I helped so many people. And I realized I never got to know that side of her. I was too young to understand her imperfection in some ways. Too young, not in years necessarily, but in maturity. And there were moments when I thought I understood her, and then there were moments when I knew I really didn't. And sad as that may be, but it is what it is. But I also remember some great laughs that we had, and I would really encourage you on this day to really, if your mom isn't around anymore, spend the day remembering the good times. All right? There must have been some. Even in the worst relationships, there must have been some good times. And if you can, try and remember those. Now, I've got a couple of people. I saw it. No, it's not true. I saw a comment yesterday that just made my blood boil, really. Was somebody saying that their stepmother was fat, ugly, and they were just ranting on. And I just thought, gosh, how cruel is that? How cruel is that? And, you know, even if there's part of me that goes, even if it's true, how cruel is that? And that person may think that they are sort of getting revenge by being able to make such a statement on Facebook or Twitter or wherever I saw it. But you know, what you do is you damage yourself. So if you can today, on Mother's Day, try not to hate anybody. Try and understand that everybody does the best they can, and even that might not be very good in your scale. They are, in their own way, trying to do the best they can. And it's a really good thing to reward good behavior. In other words, if somebody is not the perfect person most of the time, but occasionally is, then make sure that when they are doing what you consider to be a great thing, that you give them lots of strokes for that. Boy, I love it when you do X, Y, and Z. It makes me feel so special. And it tells me what a kind, gentle person you really are. You know, when we bring out the best in people, it brings out more of the best. And when we are constantly beating people down, they just continue to be like that. I had a few words there that I realized perhaps were not fit for human consumption. And I know that you're laughing, those of you who do the broadcast. I know you're laughing because you know you've heard me say some of those words. And so I really would ask you just to be kind today, of kind of thought, regardless of what you've experienced. And then there's some of you that I know it's probably a sad day because you never got to know your real mother and father. And part of me goes, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it isn't, but maybe that's a good thing. And maybe Mother's Day is about remembering not just the mother that they weren't. Maybe it's about the mother that you've become because of your experience. And I know that we've got some great mothers on the Dear Mama Sal network. We've got some great young people who really appreciate the great mothers we've got on the Dear Mama Sal network. Because, you know, there is no way that I alone can appeal and give help to everybody. And I don't need to do that. I really love it when we as a group of people look after a bigger group of people and give them. We had such a nice thing happen yesterday in the broadcast. Liz came home, and I say came home, but she popped in. We haven't seen Liz for a long time. And mind you, so did Glenn. And we haven't seen Glenn for a long time. But it's like they know that they can come back and they'll always be welcome. And it was funny, I saw the name Liz, and it's been a while, and so I just presumed it was a new Liz, and it wasn't. It was the Liz. And so it was really nice that she came back, and she actually apologized for having been away for so long, but you know, stuff had been happening, and we said that's quite all right, we understand that. We understand that. And then she said, I'm going to come back more often, it's good for me. That's nice. And it was really great because Glenn came back, and we had just been talking about how much we miss him and the loves that he brings us. And so that was really nice that he came back to make us laugh and make us think. He has a great ability to do both of those. And so we laughed a lot. And then Ozzy was there, for those of you who know Ozzy, and that always is chaos. We were talking to Emily about what it's like to be back in Ohio now that she's won the world champion cheerleading thing. And, you know, what it's like to have been away from home in California for all those months and then suddenly go back to Ohio. And of course, we all wanted to see the trophy and all the other things. She got a ring and all sorts of other things, and she hadn't got them. She hadn't got them with her. They are coming, so we will get a show and tell, I'm sure, when she gets them all, because we will insist on it. And I don't know, there was something about last night's broadcast that just brought tears to my eyes in a lot of ways, because it is just what it is. It's a group of people who get together, and it's an extended family that has good days and bad days. And we had some people that were having good days and some people who were having bad days. And I have to talk about Louisiana Laurie, who yesterday showed us all what real love is, and that's what she's full of. I mean, if there's any one word I wanted to use to describe Louisiana Laurie, it would have to be love. Why? Because she and her family are busy struggling with the fact that her mother-in-law is going through a really, really bad time and may not survive it, quite honestly. And yet, with all that going on, and with her being rushed back to hospital and all this, she still made the time. Didn't have it. She made the time to do a happy birthday wish for Manon and for Oz. You know, really, that's love. That's not love of self, that's love above self. In other words, for her, that was more important than what she was going through. And the reason that I actually even asked, and I know some of you probably are a bit stunned that I would ask whether she could do that for us, knowing that she could say no and I'd be perfectly okay with that. But the reason I asked is because sometimes when we're going through all this stress, doing something creative, something loving, it just helps a little bit. And so really my huge thanks to Louisiana Laurie, who constantly amazes us with her care. And then I look at it and I think of Nana and all the incredible things that Nana brings, and you know, it's like, wow, we are so lucky to have these people in our lives, because they genuinely do all bring their own particular pattern to our tapestry, right? It's not it is not just me, right? And so I think it's really exciting stuff. And I hope it continues for many, many, many years. It was so exciting. We actually got to, I mean, I laugh because, you know, Judy gets to 1 million subscribers, right? Now here's a good lesson in how not to compare yourself to others. Judy gets to 1 million subscribers, and I got so excited because we passed 210,000 views. And I just thought that that was wonderful. So exciting. So thank you all for all you've done. I'm late. I've got to run. Hello everybody, this is me with a much shorter haircut. And so the good news is that I have hair that is holding on very, very tightly to just the last bits of color. We think it might even take 2 more cuts. They're just amazing that some of the bits on top, I don't know if you can see them, are still holding on to color, and that's great. But it really is doing very, very well, and I am still very happy that I let my hair grow out. I don't feel that I've aged 20 years or whatever, you know what I mean? And if I have, I don't mind. I feel absolutely great with my hair the color that it is. I don't feel lessened by it. I'm actually quite excited about it all. And as I said, it has totally changed its consistency in some ways, and that's good. This coming week, we're going to be talking about things to do to make ourselves happy. And I just wanted to let you know that I've had a number of young people write to me recently, and probably because of the fact I got mentioned a bit with Benji and Judy. And so they, obviously people who don't know about me have found me and then came over to ask questions. And I thank you all for doing that. And for all of you who are new to the Dear Mama Sal channel, I really thank you for subscribing, and I know a lot of you have. And I want to tell you that, you know, it's like, it really heartens me to know that the work that we're doing is helping people. And I know that a lot of you drummed up a lot of courage to actually write to me and ask me questions, and I really do encourage you to do that. Do it at dearmamaSal@gmail.com. The links are down below here. You don't have to do it in public, you can do it in private, and a lot of you have. And I've been struggling to sort of keep up with all the notes and everything, but I'm happy to do so. So know if I'm a little bit slow, I will get back to you. And if I don't get back to you, write again. It is my wish to get back to everybody. So the point that I'm making here is that a lot of people have been talking about making themselves happy. And yet, the funny thing is, in the last couple of days, I've had a lot of people writing to me, and what they're doing is keeping themselves unhappy. So one of the interesting parts about this is be aware. And we will be talking about that during the week. But be really aware of what you're doing. And is it making you happy? Or are you sort of kidding yourself that it's making you happy? And I have had some incredibly sad stories from people about the life they're living, and what they're doing is they're holding on to those lives, hoping that it will get better. Wow. What makes you think it would get better? What makes you think that behavior is going to change? If our behavior doesn't change, their behavior is not going to change. So, and in a lot of cases, if your behavior changes, they will not want you anymore. If you start to show strength of character and go, no, this is not my idea of fun anymore, you know. So what really we're going to need to add on to this, it's a bit like we did pain and sorrow together. I mean, joy and pain together. I think I'm going to do this next series on happiness and sadness, because they're so close. Or we get them so confused that we actually think that being this sad is being happy. Wow, that is pretty scary. Pretty darn scary. You know, it was really, I was looking at yesterday, and I was looking at how happy I was yesterday. And I am today, by the way, just in case that sounds like I'm not happy anymore. But I really did have a really happy day yesterday, and partially because right in the middle of it, totally unexpected for some reason, and I'm not quite sure why, Dougie phoned me and said, "What are you doing on Mother's Day?" And I said, "I don't know. What am I doing on Mother's Day, Dougie?" It was so cute. And so, you know, that made me happy. Very happy to hear that he was coming. And then he started to tell me what we were going to be doing on Sunday afternoon. I said, actually, no, I'm going to be doing a broadcast Sunday afternoon. And part of me felt, wow, should I have cancelled the Mother's Day broadcast? And then I went, no. No, he knows what I do. And, you know, he can sit, and if he wants to, he can sit and play with his computer, or mine, my second one, while I do the broadcast. Or, you know, he can go and get on with his life. I know this is not disrespectful to him. This is respecting my life. And that's okay. You know, he spent the last 4 months being very heavily involved in his life, and I have graciously done without seeing him, if you know what I mean. And so I keep saying I totally understand, because I do. I totally understand. And I will write to him every now and then and send him a hug and tell him he doesn't have to answer. I just need to send him a hug and let him know he's loved, because I'm responsible for my behavior. And so now it's a case of, okay, now he gets to return that. But the good news is he's coming to have lunch with me. And that makes me very, very happy. And so I was looking at some of the things that do make me happy. This morning, before I went out to get my haircut, Yvonne and I took a tour through the garden. Because next weekend, which is a long weekend here in Canada, next weekend, Yvonne is going to weed my garden. You know, once I got sort of old where that became a problem for me, Yvonne took it over for me, which was so kind. And she knows that I'm trying to get ready for my brother to arrive, and I'm trying to do a job, and I'm trying to do Dear Mama Sal, and therefore I'm getting a little bit behind the 8 ball here. And so she knows I bought the plants and I want to plant them. And so we're going to do that next weekend. We're going to weed and plant all in one weekend. And so what we did was a walk through the garden to decide which parts of the garden we were going to weed and replant. And over the years, I've been trying to get my garden to be what I call an English country garden, which is you don't really have to plant it very much because stuff comes up automatically. And one of the plants that she said to me is, because she's getting really good about what are weeds and what aren't now. When I first arrived, she had no idea what was a plant and what was a weed. And then she said, now tell me about this one, because this one still confuses me. And I said, well, there's a reason why it still confuses you, Yvonne. And she said, why is that? And I said, because it's a weed that we love. And she said, what? I said, it's a weed, but it has a daisy flower to it, and we like that. And it looks very pretty when it's flowering, so we let it live. And she went, oh, that's why I never get it right. And I said, yes, because you're right on both counts. It is a weed, but no, it does stay, because we like the way it looks. The same as cosmos is a weed, but a lot of people plant it. And so, you know, sometimes it's the old story about beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I wonder how many of you also have plants in your garden that are actually weeds, but you enjoy them, so you let them live. I know some of you have dandelions and you think they look really pretty in your lawn, so you let them live. And there are other people that would die rather than have a dandelion in their lawn. I know, they live on my street. And their dandelions make more dandelions on my lawn. I'll forgive them. It's part of being a neighbor. And I am sure that my ground cover has permeated other people's ground. And so it goes on. So I think that when we can understand that we each individually have things that make us happy and things that don't, and what makes me happy and what makes me sad are going to be very different from the things that make you happy and make you sad. And so our journey this week, and maybe for the next couple of weeks, depends how long this takes, and maybe it's a lifetime, I'll be looking at some of the things that make me happy. And hopefully it will trigger some of the things that make you happy. So that we also can trigger some of the things that make me sad. And that we can look at those. Because I always think, if you can see the one, you can see the other. Most people, when I ask them what makes you happy, oh, I don't know. I don't know what makes me happy. I say, okay, well, tell me what makes you sad. You see, if I can find out what makes you sad, I also know what makes you happy. It's the opposite of that. That's my thought for today. Know what makes you sad. The opposite of that makes you happy. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, I hope you have a very happy day. I really do. Bye-bye for now.